Hi guys, and welcome to the channel and welcome to another video. For this one we are going to give you a quick update on the Starsky and Hutch for Torino. We have done a little bit of work and made some changes. I was going to do a box stock build on it, but there's just a few things which I just wanted to change up a little bit for my own preference and to know we're going to end up with a nice build. But first of all, though, I do want to give a massive shout out to old Tom, Rambler69. He so kindly sent me a shop card. I say it with any shop card I get. There is no doubt if you're watching this video, you'll be subscribed to old Tom. Absolutely amazing builder and extremely well thought of throughout the community, so much so that there's a group build, tribute build going on at the moment for Tom. It was one I really did want to get involved in, but with my hiatus from building just for the life's issues, I've missed a few group builds which I really would have liked to have got into, especially that one. There was the Porsche group build. I had a kit set aside for that, and even though I've still got a month, I could do that one. With the USACC coming up very shortly, I'm just going to be rushing to build a kit in that time. And even the 48-hour group build, that was one I wanted to get in on, but again, just no time. And with Adams from Sodax, Cars of the Past, Mars Garages, the Junker, the Junk build. I think that was a bit out of my comfort zone anyway. But there's been so many going on, and there is so many going on still at the moment, which I just need to get back on track with my own stuff in life and on the bench as well. But thank you, Tom. You sent me some really kind words on the back. I will drop you an email just as a personal thanks over the weekend. But thank you ever so much for that. And speaking of that tribute build, I've been obviously watching trying to watch everybody's videos. I'm so far behind with videos at the moment, just through not having internet in the house for so long that it's not even funny. But I've been obviously watching Shawn over at the Scale Model Car Guy channel. I'll also put a link into his description. And if anybody who knows Shawn knows he's having some health problems within his family. So I think all our heartfelt prayers are going out to Shawn at the moment. But yeah, I thought I'd just show these. I don't usually show my old builds. These were probably done in mid to late 20s. Maybe before that, to be quite honest with you. I used to build quite a bit, and then I really dropped off sort of by the time I was like 30. I was just more in. I've built maybe 5 kits over the last 8 years or something. I'm probably going to overtake that in my first year of YouTube. So, but I've been watching Shawn's, and whenever Shawn does a build, his idea, it's just like he's plucking them out my head. And he's building a AMT Mercury at the moment, and just reminds me so much of this one I did many years ago. I've not polished it up or anything. I've just taken it out of the bag for this video. But but the way Shawn's doing it, he's doing it with a proper Carson top, and I just sort of did something the best I could out of because aftermarket parts over here are just so they're not. I mean, they're becoming more available, but it's back in 90s or two mid thousands or what have you. We're still struggling over here, like for readily available parts. So I just made it out of just did what I could use in the original hardtop. It's starting to sink a little bit round the roof, and that's kind of why I don't really show these old kits, because they're even though they've stood up to time better than quite a few, they're still a bit ropey, and I think I would like to redo this one. I just threw the 56, the Revel 56 Nomad wheels on there just because they were in parts box. They had white wheels, which I was after, and I was never really happy with wheel choice on it. I didn't think it really suited it too well, or not the best wheel for it. But yeah, there's a rear bumper that needs gluing back on and what have you. I mean, it don't look bad without the rear bumper, but that'll have to get glued back on, and I'll try and figure out a way of redoing this car sunroof without destroying the paint on the bottom side of it. But yeah, I mean, wheels just hanging off on that side, and you can see it's just about to go. I didn't pin them back in the day, I just pretty much glued them the best I could. But yeah, that was a nice little one, and I think every time I see Shawn's updates on that, it does remind me of this one. So I thought it'd just be nice while we're speaking about other channels, just to bring some of these in. And I think this one I built around the same time. Give it a nice fade job and what have you. Just took the centre posts out. I had an old builder years ago which was done pretty much like it, and I just, rather than redo it, I just copied it the best I could, and I sold that kit eventually. But did it the same style. I think I used I think it's the 58 Ford custom headlamp pods on there, and extended the quarter panels out. Like I said, did a very mild, subtle fade job on it. Doesn't really pick up on the camera, but yeah, it's obviously dark around bottoms and down the centre and what have you, and just over peaks at the top of the fenders and what have you. But so yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think like I said, I won't show many of these, and like I said, I've not really polished these up. I've literally just taken them out the bag, and I mean, this one's held up a lot nicer, and I would never touch this one again, even though you could always improve on old builds, but I don't like to mess with them too much, to be quite honest with you. I'll do little repairs as I need, but yeah, I mean, that being said, I mean, like I say, everybody's, I'm sure everybody's in contact with Shawn and wishing him all the best and giving him regards to the family and what have you. And I'll tag him in this video as well, and go and, like I say, go and check out his latest videos. He's done some really good videos lately, and I'm catching up with all them now. But we'll just get them out of the way to make some room for the Torino. So before I say, thanks once again, Tom, for that. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the sticker. Once I get more of these in time, I will be framing these, because they do mean a lot to me. So thank you ever so much for that, and thank you for other people who are sending me shop cards as well. I really appreciate that. So, but moving on, into the main thing in hand, so to speak. I've got the Torino mocked up the way I like it, and I'm really happy with how it sits now, and how it sits on there is how it's going to eventually sit once it's all glued together. There's not much movement in parts. I mean, wheels are just loosely tucked into the axles with the pins I put in, but they're loose and all of it spot. But when it came, I think in my last video, I did say the first thing I wanted to do was sort out my ride height, and I got out the kit wheels, and I was looking at these, and there was something I wasn't quite keen on. I mean, they're probably they're a nice wheel and everything. They are a really nice wheel, and they would sort suit other kits, I think. But it was always in my memory with the Starsky and Hutch car, you know, obviously there were staggered wheels where you have deeper dishes, and these are all the same. These are all the same depth for these, and they aren't staggered. Even the rear tyres, you got staggered rear tyres on it. The depth of the wheels aren't staggered, so I thought they just kind of looked a little bit more like what you'd see on an 80s or 90s sort of hot rod, that style of mag wheel, rather than the sort of 70s mag wheel, which I always remember being on the Starsky and Hutch cars. And like I say, they're great, really nice wheels and tyres. But I won't be using any of these, unfortunately. It's and just to show you, they do, you know, they do look nice if you were just to build it straight out the box. And because I don't want to bash this kit, because if anything, you know, when they bring out these type of kits, you know, for me it's just given us an opportunity to build something which we haven't had before. And even though this mold is now probably 8 years old or something like that, you know, you can build a nice looking model out of it and put a red stripe. I mean, this one's just a rough builder. I keep these just for, I've got 2 or 3 of these builders, to be quite fair. Reason being is I wouldn't mind doing a few conversions. I've got a spare Joanne Torino body, which I want to cut the front end off this one and make a 73 sport roof Torino, which would obviously mean doing quite a bit of fabrication to the front end, tucking that bumper in, because it didn't have, on 73, you didn't have any of the bumper protection, which pokes this bumper right out by 76, and the grill's a lot flatter. It's just a nicer looking car. So yeah, one day I'm hoping just to swap front ends over, do a sport roof on this, and then use the front clip off this one and do a notchback 72. And but you know, there's so many ideas you could do with these, like 4 doors. I think David Parsley just mentioned in the last video if he was thinking of doing a 4 door, and that would be a really good kit to do a 4 door out of. I couldn't imagine it being massively difficult, but whether I get round to it, I don't know. I think I'll leave that up to other guys right at the minute. But like I say, like, you know, they are, them wheels, you know, they look right enough. And if you just wanted to build a nice box stock kit, then you'll be able to, like. But you will still. I'm not bashing the kit, but I'm not gonna lie and say it's a great kit, because it's not. You know, I think if you wanted the wheels to turn, you're going to end up with floppy wheels like that. I mean, there's just hardly anything holding these wheels in. So I'd advise at least gluing your wheels rather than having turning wheels, because you know you're gonna do away with all this floppiness. I mean, it might just be that they're not put them together quite as well, but that aside, back to the issue. So I did want to change it up a little bit. Thinking of what kits I had with mag wheels in, and the first thing I thought of, which I thought would look really good, are the wheels from that weird scale. Is it the Oshima or Aoshima or a Toki or whatever? I mean, they were bought out under numerous brands, but the 73 Challenger has the nicest. They made a lot of nice wheels in that range, but by far the mag wheels in the 73 Challenger is were the nicest mags, I think, even with all the aftermarket mags you have out today. You know, they're such a nice wheel. And I was a little bit worried because, you know, everybody knows these kits know that they're absolutely massive. The box is 1/24, but I mean, you can see the size difference there. I think they're at least, I would say, between 1/22 and 1/20th scale, these kits. You know, I've got one of Thunderbird's handy as well. You know, one of the old Thunderbirds they did as well, and yeah, that's your size difference. They're a big kit, and I was worried about them looking too big, and I thought I'd just put them underneath and I'd put them straight back in with that built kit because I've had to steal them off that Challenger. But when I actually got them out, they're the same size, if not a fraction smaller diameter than these ones. So with that, I was quite happy because I did think them looked a little bit too big as well. But that's given me, I've got it all pinned down properly. You know, it's not going to, once it's all glued together, you know, that's how I'm going to do it. And I do, just as a personal preference, I do pose my front suspension. It's not movable. I just build them like that because they look better when they're finished, in my opinion, on the shelf. And that's all I build here, shelf models. I don't build show winning kits or anything like that because we don't really have many shows to go to. But yeah, I'm so happy with that now. I mean, we'll probably end up taking the white lettering off. But that's just got the perfect stance to me. For every time I've seen a picture of the Starsky and Hutch in Torino, that's how it's kind of looked. And yeah, really chuffed with that. I mean, it's taken a bit of work to get it looking right. I've spent a lot of time making sure, like, the sides of the tyres don't stick any further out than the lip of the rear wheel arch. Made sure that, you know, you got good space all around the wheel, and it doesn't look too low. But yeah, I'm just really chuffed that I've spent the extra time doing what I've done to make that all work. And I will show you in more detail. I will quickly take it off, but you know, before it falls off here. But yeah, it's like I say, it's when you're building these things, no matter what faults with the kit, you know, there's so much potential in them. Even when I was looking at it from this angle the other day, I thought, you know, that just looks like the back end of a early 80s Ford Fairmont, and it'd look really good with a big custom rear light panel on there with the horizontal separation chrome bars, and there we go. Well, that's expedited taking it off the stand, and I'm not going to shoot all this again, to be quite honest with you. So nothing was glued, like I say, but yeah, going back to that, you know, I thought it would make a really nice 80s, like early 80s, mid 80s style street machine with that kind of work on the rear end, and then you could, I was almost thinking from that angle, you could do like a late 70s Malibu style sloped rear end or something like that on the front, and make really unique customs. Yeah, I mean, it's a very versatile kit, and like I say, it has its issues. But the other thing I did just before I take the body off and what have you, I did end up correcting the hood issue. It was rocking all over the place in the last video. I think the hood was probably warped just the way it sits on the sprue in that Revel Germany serial box, and so we ended up just heating it in warm water, then bending it. You can see the stress marks where I've had my fingers, and I was sort of bending it corner to corner and until it fit right, and then we finally quenched it in cold water to hold the shapes. yeah, that's fitting a lot better now, and I'm quite confident to go ahead and start priming all that up. So I mean, we will take like I say, this thing is just wanting to drop out my hands. But I ain't going to film it again because I've already filmed this once, and when it got to about 20 minutes or whatever, my new camera just went, I'm getting too hot, and shut itself off, so that phone's off back. Even though it's supposed to be a much superior phone, much superior camera, I've had nothing but problems with it, so we're going to stick to the old camera for now, just for these likes. But yeah, we have done a little bit of work to the chassis, to be quite honest with you, to make all that work. You know, I have done a little bit more sanding, making sure all my scribe door edges are nice and flush and no scratch marks around them, and taken a few of the mould lines out of the body. I mean, it's a really good body, to be quite fair. Can't really knock the body except from, like I say, I went in the last video, I wasn't really happy with the spacing of the panel lines, and it looked like it'd been moulded with a separate door, and there was just too much space in between there. So digging them out of it's going to probably give us more of a narrow sort of look to it once we got in primer. But yeah, moving on to the chassis. I'm just seeing if I could see any bits and pieces on to use as it. I'll put that one there just in case we need it. But yeah, I mean, so these front wheels. Yeah, like I say, I've glued them in the pose position. What I did was I used the pins off the Challenger, so they can just slot on and off until it's time to glue them. But on the original, I showed it in the last video that there are big posts which stick down there. I think you got a really big post in towards the centre, and then a narrower post towards the outer wheel, where the wheels are supposed to fit to the flimsy hubs what you got. But yeah, so we basically we cut out we just cut the original front axles from the Challenger, the posable steering from the Challenger, but I didn't want to mess around making it posable, and to be quite honest, it would have killed the project for me. I really don't want to get involved with that. So yeah, we cut most of the pins off, put the Challenger axle supports in between, and then just like I say, we cut most of the pins off, just enough. I think I left maybe a couple of mil just so they touch the top of the axle pins there, so it's all tight and held together, and they're not going to come off anywhere. And you know, the engine, the cross member, you know, that sits exactly where it should be. So I've not altered anything at all for the upper cross member and steering rack and all that kind of carry on. You know, that's pretty much the same. The rear axle, I did mention in the last video about them voids down here and how the axles do stick up. I mean, this one's not as bad as mine was, but if you pull them forward, it is really pulling to fit into them holes like this chap's done. It does really pull the centre of your wheel right up to the front of that wheel arch. So I set it back. I didn't glue anything until I was happy where the wheels sat in the wheel arch. I mean, as it stands now, they're absolutely dead centre. But that pulls these up a little bit. I mean, one sticks up higher than the other anyway, and you know, I tried eating it and bending it down, but it was just going to snap, so I didn't really want to push it too far. So we just made some hangers, scratch built some torsion bar hangers or whatever they are, and you know, just to give it a little bit more of a realistic look, and in that way I ain't got two torsion bars just barely resting on the frame and not glued to anything. So that's all glued, secured in place. Usually I'd assemble the axles and then take them off, but for this build, because there's so much work to make them fit, then you know that's you know, I've glued it all in place, and I'm just gonna handpick detail paint it by hand after. You know, it's all I do with the promo chassis. So this one really isn't going to be any different. So what else we got? I mean, everything else is just really just ready for paint. I've just got all the parts ready, cut on the sprues in the right place, in different places and what have you. And so next thing is just I'm going to prime it. I'm going to probably prime it and then paint it black from the underneath, and probably do a bit of the black on the engine bay and then mask it off. I don't know how I'm going to mask it off yet. You know, really that firewall should be red, but I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, it's just going to be too much red in there, so we want to get some black or something in there to calm that down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think like I say, we're pretty much ready now to start getting some paint on it. I think while we're on Saturday, so Sunday, I think I'll have a couple of hours just to start throwing a bit of primer and paint on there and start getting things moved on. I might end up ripping this intake off. I'm really leaning towards just a standard 4-barrel on that, just for the fact that I absolutely hate this air cleaner which is in there. And you know, I might end up putting something else on, maybe a Cobra, a proper Cobra Jet air cleaner and what have you. Just, I know it wouldn't be like a real car, but you go on the internet and there's so many replicas, you don't know what real car is. So to be quite honest, I've tried not to look at Google for anything, because things being accurate, because like I say, there's so many different replicas out there, and you don't know what you're looking at really. So I'm just doing it how I remember it in the old original shows, rather than like the remake or anything like that. So, but with that, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to get another update. I would have thought by, I don't know, early next week or something, maybe Monday or Tuesday, just see what else we've done to it. But yeah, I mean, I think for now we aren't going to do anything else with it. I'm just going to be honest, I think tonight I'm not even going to do anything else on the kit tonight. I think I've had enough. I think the fact I've had to film this twice now is kind of is my cut-off point for being at the bench now. So, but yeah, again, once again, Tom, thank you ever so much for that, for sending me that through. That means a hell of a lot to me. And say I'm over in the UK and you guys are sending me them, and I will get one put together at one point. I will do, but you know, one thing at a time for me, and I'm just trying to sort out other things and doing the best I can to keep the channel going. So if I've not already said it before, thank you ever so much for all the friends of the channel, everybody who subscribes to the channel. You know, it does mean a lot to me, and you know, I would like to get to that 1,000 number. I think with my time away or very little input to YouTube over the last few months, you know, I think the chances of me getting to 1,000 this year I don't think it's an achievable goal. I've not made enough videos, and I've not contributed enough, I don't think, to the community yet to warrant that. So it's a nice goal to get to, but I think it's just a goal for maybe next year, hopefully. But yeah, with that said, whatever you're doing this weekend, have a great time. Hope the weather's nice. I think we're finally getting a bit of nice weather again back in the UK. So even though I'm not going out or anything tonight, you know, I think it's just nice to it not being pouring down outside and what have you. So yeah, whatever you're doing for the weekend, enjoy yourself, and big thanks to everybody once again, and we will see you in the next video. Okay, see you, bye.